what's next is Gaucho Group, ticker Vino, Chairman and CEO of Gaucho Group, Scott Mathis. And I see Scott there. What's going on, Scott? How are you?
Good morning. Coming to you live from Miami Beach in Florida. Happy to be down here.
It's not morning for you.
Good afternoon. That's right.
There you go. I see you got this is a nice looking room you got behind you there, Scott. You got a nice piece of artwork there behind you. I'm excited to learn a little bit about Gaucho. You guys do real estate in South America?
Absolutely, and many other levers of companies that can have a transformational growth for us coming up in the very near future.
And I want to ask real quick. I know what a gaucho is. It's like a Southern American cowboy. But is there any reference to one of my favorite bands, Steely Dan, with the company name?
No, there is
Rats.
Not. I know Rats. They had an album, but no.
I had to ask. It's an album I'm listening to right now. I love it, but whatever. I'll let you get to it, Scott.
Well, listen, thank you very much, and I appreciate everybody tuning in. We've got 15 minutes, so I want to go through this rather quickly. And so I'd like to just start off by saying, first of all, thanks everybody again for listening to our story today. Look, of course, we are a publicly traded company. The symbol is VINO, V-I-N-O, trading on the NASDAQ right now. Please also, if you do look after this brief presentation, at our presentation, we have forward-looking statements. Please read through those, as well as at the end of the presentation, there's about 30 slides. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. And to look at all of the pictures of the massive amounts of real estate and businesses and wine and hotels that we actually own, and compare that with our current market capitalization of the company, I think it'll be well eye-opening for people. We are a company who went public on the NASDAQ. We did a very small IPO because the company was already trading on the OTC. So when we uplisted, we did just enough not to have massive amounts of dilution. But we're looking forward to getting this market cap up and rolling in the very near future. One of the first things we can do, besides getting attention to the revenue side of our business and growth side of the business, but talk about exposure. And one of the things that we have not done yet, and we've held off until really we get in a post-COVID world where we can actually all meet in New York City and ring the bell on the NASDAQ. So that's really going to be our first run at getting some global exposure for our company shares. And if you really look and peel back the onion on this particular company, on Gaucho, we've got roughly 8 million shares outstanding with 6.5 million shares in the float. So the company has had, some roller coaster movements, if you would, in the value of the stock. But at this point, just on the sheer value, the stock trading right at $3 per share with a market cap at around $24 million. I personally think, from looking at a perspective of 1 year, 2 years, and 3 years out, we've got a company that can, if we're able to execute on our plans, which I'm confident that we can as a team, that we've got a company that can do extraordinarily well in the years ahead, because I believe the stock, just based on real estate values, is selling at a significant discount just because of the lack of exposure that we've seen. So given the short presentation, again, I'm going to go for some of the catalyst of growth that we've got coming up in the next 12 months that I think could be really explosive and transformational in the actual valuation of our company. And first of all, we've got to get exposure. I've talked about we're going to ring the bell in the fall on the NASDAQ. We'll arrange for that. In a post-COVID world, the opportunity in tourism in Argentina, where our boutique hotel is and our vineyard properties are truly magnificent. And, when we first started this, we're contrarian investors. We like to go where, things have already hit the fan, if you would like to say, when things aren't looking so great. We think that's where the best value is. The old word on the street is blood on the word on Wall Street is blood on the streets. That's when you buy. And that's where we were over the last decade in Argentina. And I can tell you this, I don't regret that at all. We've got some amazing assets that are truly undervalued, I believe, in today's world market. And we are no longer alone. Over COVID, I can tell you the Marriott Corporation has now acquired 3 different hotel properties, 2 in Buenos Aires and 1 in Bariloche. And they're continuing to look forward for other properties as well. Just in the last 2 weeks, which was very exciting to see, another company went public on the NASDAQ. They raised $350 million. Ualá, which is an online company for credit cards for people to really use digital currency in Argentina. And just yesterday, another company announced that they, at a $3 billion valuation, raised about $500 million from some U.S. private equity. So we were alone for a while, but we're no longer alone. So we are early in the stage. The stock, in my opinion, is a ripe time for people to get in, especially before all of these catalysts come to fruition. So we believe in a post-tourism boom in Argentina. The value of the peso has been absolutely horrific from an operational perspective. But at this point, it's devalued roughly 99% since we got there. That was bad. That was not good by any stretch of the imagination. But what it is today is it is already devalued. So that our cost of labor has dropped more than 65%. The cost of people going out and dining, if you're coming in with US dollars, with euros or British pounds or any other foreign currency, the cost to tour and to live and to build and to consume in Argentina is one of the cheapest, most elegant places to visit on the planet Earth today. And I bet anyone to find any place different. The devaluation has actually turned into a huge positive. Not unfortunately for the local people in Argentina. It's very difficult with the high inflation. The peso devaluing has not been good, but for foreign dollars coming into the country, it's an extraordinary opportunity, and I'll pound the table on it right now, especially with where our valuations are. We made this public, so everything I'm going to be telling you today, again, are some forward-looking statements, but we have been pushing in the last quarter on lot sales. We anticipate upwards of, close to 20 particular lots that'll be announced that have been sold in Q3, which will drive us close to more than $4 million in revenues, which will be a huge dramatic turn in our revenue picture going into Q3. And hopefully we're looking at the same type of momentum continuing into Q4 and throughout 2022, because we really are believing, like the Marriott Corp, in a post-COVID dramatic tourism boom. And once people see the value that they get in Argentina, I think it's just going to be absolutely incredible. So we can recognize these lot sales. We also want to take advantage of these cheap assets, and as being a publicly traded NASDAQ currency, that we can use our public traded vehicle to make accretive type of acquisitions. And believe me, trust me, there are a lot of acquisitions to be made. People are really hurting, and we don't like to say take advantage of the opportunity, but that's exactly what we intend to do. There's a lot of opportunity. And as far as what our company is, we really want to emulate the LVMH of South America, and that's Moet Hennessy Louis Vuitton. That company today, obviously, we are a very small fraction of what that great company is, but that company today has a $318 billion valuation, and Bernard Arnault, which is the CEO of that company, him and Jeff Bezos trade off on any given month on the richest person in the world. And he's done it by selling luxury goods and luxury experiences. And we are, I'd say, the mini-me of that, but doing it in South America. And our goal is to build the LVMH of South America. And I think from what we've done, this is not just talk anymore. You'll see in the pictures and what we talk about later, we've actually done it. So what we're trying to do right now is continue to grow by partnering our brands with other luxury brands, other hotel brands as well. In addition, we have announced recently also a partnership in Las Vegas, which I'm expecting and very hopeful that there could be some transformational news coming out of Las Vegas between now and the end of the year. One person that you probably see that have joined our board of directors is Bill Allen. Bill Allen was the former CEO of Blooming Brands, which owns the Outback Steakhouses. He was the founder also with Paul Fleming's of the Fleming Steakhouse brands. He is now on our board of directors, and he's the senior partner in our new development partnership in Las Vegas. So we've got a lot of new news coming out of that. If you just look at what we're doing on the real estate side, we talked about how we can deliver millions of dollars throughout this year and going into 2022, which will be a huge dramatic shift in where we are. We've built this, we've built the winery, we built the luxury goods aspects. Now it's time to sell. So we're super excited from that particular perspective. In addition to that, our fine wines, Algodon Fine Wines, are for sale on Vivino. It's for sale on algodonfinewines.com as well. We're at Specs in Texas. And you can also see our wines on Vivino, which is the largest wine app in the world. It's vivino.com. And they have picked up some of our wines, which will be on the site for sale within the next quarter as well. So we really believe that not only the revenues from the lots, but the revenues from our fine wine sales will hopefully drive up dramatically over the course of the next year or 2 years, using e-commerce basically as a way to push the wine sales as well. As far as our luxury goods, we've established and we've trademarked the brand here in the U.S. Gaucho Buenos Aires. Gaucho, if you don't know, is actually the spirit of Argentina. It's the strength, it's the resilience, it's the power behind really what brought Argentina to its glory days of where it was back from the 1950s, and it was one of the most successful economies in the world. I must say this, most of all of our assets are completely non-leveraged. I forgot to mention that a moment ago, but the boutique hotel in Argentina has very slight leverage on it, about $400,000 in leverage. Our entire 4,138 acre vineyard estate with golf course, with tennis facilities, with old vines. We make our own olive oil. That 4,000 acre estate is completely non-leveraged. And if you consider all of the value of the real estate that we have, it could be worth more than 150 million US dollars. And our company's sitting there with a $24 million market cap today. It's absolutely astounding, and I think a huge opportunity for anybody coming in. If you go to the next slide, Marty. So we know everybody knows that e-commerce has been booming. It's been booming in a COVID world, and we think it's just going to continue to move on forward. Trying to get a piece of the world of the e-commerce and Bitcoin. We accepted over the course of the summer 1 Bitcoin transaction is come to us. It has not yet closed, but we are open for that as well, because we're a long-term believer that the world is going into an inflationary type of environment, and that Bitcoin might be one source of people to invest in besides gold to kind of counteract what we believe is going to be a very inflationary market here in the U.S. And that's how we positioned our company as well, is be a kind of anti-inflationary by having all of the real estate assets that we have and using these transformational partnerships in e-commerce to deliver some powerful revenues in the quarters and years ahead. Our companies are up and running. We've been in Argentina for over a decade. We know the ins and outs. We know all the bad the bad things about doing business in Argentina, why it's so bad. But because of that contrarian attitude, we believe now is the absolute right time. You can buy value, you can pay labor, you can buy concrete, you can build at absolutely cents on the dollar. And what we have is an incredible opportunity on our vineyard real estate project and our e-commerce here in the U.S. as well. As you can see, we've already listed on the NASDAQ. Our wines are listed at Specs. We're at different, Sherry Lehman, major wine retailers across the globe, and we continue to grow that, possibility. Here you can see a little of our milestones. This has not been an easy 10 years. I can tell you, it has not been easy accumulating all the assets that we've accumulated, doing business in Argentina. We went through a 99% devaluation of the Argentine currency, a 99%. I don't know many companies or people who've actually experienced that and actually have come out on the other side alive, but we have. And because of that, we're able to operate now in a devalued peso environment, which from a currency or an FX play, I think is an incredible opportunity right now. And a lot of people, if you don't know, you just don't know. Having done business in Argentina more than the last decade, we do know now that this is a tremendous opportunity. And again, we are no longer alone. We are a vehicle now that allows people to play that particular end of the market. As I mentioned before, the Marriott's already there. They've acquired 3 hotels. You've got major private equity starting to invest in Argentina. So now is the time. You can either get in early, you can get in late, or you cannot get in at all. But now is the time, especially since our shares are trading at $3 a share at a $24 million market cap. It's unheard of. So just want to go through some of the things. Besides just all of the real estate holdings and the potential for revenues from the wine, from our e-commerce, from the Gaucho branded products, and also the real estate, we have partnered with EDSA. And if you look at EDSA, they have done master plans for some of the top residential resorts in the entire world, from Dubai, from the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., to the Four Seasons, to the Ritz-Carlton, and beyond. And we have partnered with them to develop the full master plan on our entire 4,100 acres. And the goal with this is to, once they're complete, is to partner and get a major 5-star hotel flag to join us in a co-development opportunity on Algodon Wine Estates. And if we're able to do that, the potential for growth, not only in the velocity of how fast we can sell these plots and our wine, the land and the estates, but also the bringing the flag and the residential community to the environment. So we're super happy about having ETSA as a development partner, and we're super happy, hopefully in the very near future, in a post-COVID world, to announce a hotel partner on that massive estate. That being said, it would increase values exponentially on everything that we have. We've talked about this. You know, don't just think about the U.S. going to Argentina, because Brazil is very, very close neighbor. Chile is very close neighbor. So we have a lot of opportunity of everybody coming into Argentina, not just from the U.S. We can't just think U.S. based. The world is now global. We're no longer just sitting here in our houses. Well, most of us are sitting in our houses besides of COVID, but the world is now global. And in a post-COVID world, I think it's going to be truly exciting. Another exciting thing I'd mentioned in the past, but with Bill Allen, who's now on our board of directors, we have partnered. We've already paid $3.5 million into the first installment payment of our partnership in Las Vegas, which we can announce in the very near future. Keep our fingers crossed. Some very important partners in progress on that particular partnership. But that is forward-looking statements. But if we are successful, we've already got Bill Allen. He's joined us. We've already paid the $3.5 million first milestone payment. We already have an ELOC in place, an equity line of $50 million we already have in place to get these projects maneuvering forward. If we can maneuver forward on the next several milestones in this Las Vegas project, it can be worth potentially more than the value of our entire company altogether. But let's keep our fingers crossed. We're working to that end, and we should find out very, very shortly how that goes. But that is a binary event if that happens, with more positive announcements forthcoming from that as well.
Love the energy, Scott. Love the story about the spirit of Argentina. Love your confidence and your optimism, and, you know, talking about taking advantage of the situation that we're unfortunately in. That's what this reopening story is about, adapting and innovating. And it sounds like you and your team are definitely doing that. And for that, I'm going to hit the air horn. Woo! That was awesome, Scott. Got us
Thank you very much. We've got a lot to say. We just want people to look at the slideshow, look at all the assets, look at the pictures that we have there. A picture say 1,000 words, and you look at the value, the market cap of the company, and you'll come away with the decision that you probably want to arrive at the end of the day.
You said it. You mind answering a quick question or two?
No, go ahead. Absolutely.
Awesome. So one question from the audience, one question that I had, you mentioned M&A. Can you give us a hint as to what segments you might be doing M&A in moving forward?
Well, first of all, our main base is in real estate. So that could be, you know, very, very exciting for us. We are strong believers in real estate as a base. And we are virtually, I said, with very small leverage on our companies, and I mean in a small percentage amount of leverage. I think, you know, leverage can be really great at some points, can be really tough on the other side if you're not right. So we like to remain as mostly non-leveraged as we possibly can. Sure. But real estate and luxury experiences would be the next acquisition that we move forward with.
Great, thank you. And then a question here from the audience. It was from Pravesh. What are your current sales in wine and olive oil?
Current sales in wine and olive oil, we're doing about $300,000 a year. We anticipate this year. Olive oil, we haven't even brought into the U.S. yet. So that's another transformational value that we could bring. We sell it only in Argentina, but unfortunately over COVID, everything was closed in Argentina.
Right.
Everything was completely shut down.
Way more lockdown than the United States. Right. Yeah, absolutely. Gotcha. Thanks for joining us, Scott.
Thank you so much.
Scott Mathis from Gaucho Group, ticker VINO, Vino. It's an easy one to remember, folks.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Have a good day.